Welcome to the Del Wamsley Radio Show. Listen and grow as Del questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Del challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Wamsley.
Welcome to the Del Wamsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Wamsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. My friends, I have a newfound passion for 2024. I've been surfing the internet for real estate gurus and kind of listening to what they have to say, and it really is almost frightening, the fact that these guys are really misrepresenting what actually goes on in real estate. I mean, they try to make it sound like it's so simple that a baby could do it. They try to make it sound like anybody could do it anywhere, anytime, with any deal. It's appalling how they're trying to do it. What's even more appalling is that what they're trying to do is teach you enough real estate to make you dangerous so that you will mess up and then invest in their deals. Basically, these programs are set up to sell you something for nothing, instantaneously, gratificationally diseased ideas, or they're set up as just a bait and switch to get you to put your name on their database so they can market to you about investing in their own personal deals that they're getting wealthy in. So I'm a little upset about that, since when I listen to them, they're using the same material that they've copied from me. Over the last 35 years, I've been saying the same thing, and now almost word for word, I hear them saying this on YouTube, different stations and different advertisements, marketing, whatever. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You know, that should be your greatest pride, to be copied 100%. Plagiarized is not a problem with me, because if it helps people, it would be a good thing. My problem with it isn't being disseminated by people who actually want to help people. But I can't do anything about that. That's the way the real world works. What I can do, on the other hand, is let you meet people that literally went through our program and retired. I find people join Lifestyles for one of two reasons. They want more income. They like their job. They like what they do. They want more income. Or they've come here simply because they hate their job. They're tired of working and they want to retire. So we present to you that there's some possible thing called real estate retirement. The word gets thrown around, or the couple of words get thrown around all the time. And yet, does it really happen? It happened for me back when I was 34 years old. I retired after 2.5 years of real estate investing. And I've told my story many times, and you're probably sick of my story. So I'm going to bring on other people, and I'm going to do a series on real estate retired. And I'm going to try to get as many different types of people on the show to tell their story. And this is in addition to my Tell Del, because Tell Del is just everybody doing a deal, you know, seeing life change, whatever. But this is seriously about, hey, stuff that really works. Would you like to go invest your time and knowledge into something that really works? That's what this is all about. And I'm going to be doing this for as long as I'm getting the feedback that people like. And by the way, I want you to give me feedback. This is 2024, and I want you to start thinking, what can Del help me do this year right away? I've got a lot of information about how the market is changing. It's becoming much better to invest this year than it was last year, maybe 2 or 3 times better than last year. It's just unbelievable. I've already closed 2 deals in December. I've got another deal I'm closing this year in January, and I'm looking at another deal right now that I want to make an offer on, and I've got just stuff coming across my desk every day. This is a time and a place where you need to be out there and you need to be investing right now. It's absolutely imperative that you understand that you need to be out there right now. So I want you to write this down. You can contact me at Ask Del. You're going to be getting me. You're not getting somebody else. You're getting me. Ask Del at luinc.com. And if you email me, I will answer your questions, either personally if it's something that doesn't seem like it's interesting to everybody else, or I'll bring it online and answer it so everybody can learn from. Many times people have the same questions I found over the last 35 years. You know, there's 50 basic questions that people get stuck on. We want to make sure those all get taken care of. We're going to do it over the radio. We'll do it by email. We're going to get you going, okay? Now, if you decide that you want to get involved in Lifestyles Unlimited, I will also be making some offers. I haven't got them all done yet. We'll have them later this week. Some offers that you can get into that are going to be really, really priced right for the educational program, because we are an education and mentoring program is what we really are at Lifestyles Unlimited. But what you need to understand is that everybody in Lifestyles Unlimited is a real estate investor. I've only hired, except for some staffing positions that are clerical type stuff, and I've only hired people that have retired from real estate investing. So, in other words, the people you work with here at Lifestyles have already retired from doing this. They're real, and they can help you do it too. Now, today I've got an interesting story. This is an interesting story for people that come out of the technology world, because technology people believe a certain way that the world works. And, most technology guys think they're going to put together the great program, the software program in life, and they're going to sell it, and they're going to take it to market and sell it and make billions of dollars and retire. That's pretty much the technology way to retire. There's going to be something. You're going to go into a company and help build a company together with somebody else, and then they sell the company off, and they all walk away rich. Now, that has happened. But then what happens, the rest of them, they just get technology jobs. And when they get stuck into a technology job, and at some point the creativity part, which is really exciting to people in technology, because that's the kind of person that they generally are, that creativity gets stifled and it becomes a job. And at that point, it becomes a life of quiet desperation. I have someone that I met because I was looking for a technology expert to help me turn my company around. At the time, I had been doing all the technology myself and or using independent contractors. I felt that there was no way my company could grow anymore unless I brought in a technology expert. The gentleman I brought in had all the characteristics. It was unbelievably qualified. And I'll tell you, the only way I got him, because I didn't pay him even half of what he would have got paid by somebody else. The way I got him, I'm going to tell you a secret, you can ask him when he comes online, or we will ask him when we bring him online here, was that I said, if you're still working for me 5 years after I hire you, then you messed up because you weren't listening to what you should have been learning from me. I'm going to learn from you. You're going to change my company. But if you're listening to me, you won't be here 5 years from now. Having said that, let me introduce to you my ex-VP of technology and now real estate retired, Damon J, the world traveler. I don't even know where Damon lives anymore because he moves so much and he's always gone on vacation. Damon, welcome to the show.
Hey, Del. Thank you. It's really great to be with you on the show.
Damon, what I want you to do is transfer us, the people out there listening that have a technology background, how the mindset can change from what you were taught your whole life about technology and how it's going to be your savior to how you morphed into believing in other forms of income.
I had worked in technology as a software engineer, for 20 years or so by the time I met you. And it's like, you go out, you work, you get your pay. I'm also entrepreneurial, so I tried to start a few businesses on the side, and that wasn't really going anywhere, but it was work. And then when I joined Lifestyles Unlimited and, was taught create passive income, that's when everything changed for me. So instead of looking at, I've got to create this technology that will make $1 billion or, just get more pay in the job that I had, I started looking at what do I want to spend my time doing that's going to generate passive income. And so I joined Lifestyles Unlimited, started investing in real estate, and I created a software tool to make that easier on evaluating potential investment properties. And when you saw that I had done that, you said to me, Damon, that's really great. Is that something we can make available to our members? And I said, you know what, let me check. And we figured out a way to do that. So that's kind of how I transitioned over from really being a technologist that was working all the time to investing in real estate, creating passive income, and being able to give back to the community as well, and then freeing up, my time so that I could do the things that I really wanted to do. So that was my transition from technology focus to, passive income focus.
Most people that create things want to get paid for creating things because it's creation out of thin air. And they're
Right.
generally, I find technology guys are really cheap. They don't want to spend their money because they go, I made money by doing time. Why can't I just come over and do some time and make this thing all work, right? If I design a software program, will it buy real estate for me? How did you transition that in your mind that you were going to have to actually invest money to make money?
Yeah, I think it was going through the education program at Lifestyles Unlimited and really solidifying, just kind of internalizing the idea, switching my mindset from working, spending my time working to make money to spending my time creating passive income. Just that. I mean, it sounds kind of simple, but that's really what it was, is just really internalizing that idea. And then I remember when you said, hey, will you come join me and help me grow Lifestyles Unlimited? Like you kind of you asked me to take the technology and help Lifestyles Unlimited grow into a national organization. And I had so deeply internalized this idea that I don't want to spend time for money anymore, that I'm like, Del, I don't want a salary. I don't want a job. Like, this is not a job to me. And I don't know if you remember that conversation.
Oh, Damon, it was like pulling teeth to get you to come work for me. How many interviews did we have? I mean, it was like I kept trying to convince you that this would help so many people in the world and that I wouldn't turn it into one of those, I'm going to stick you in a cubicle and, put blinders on you and tell you to start programming. It was so difficult.
Yeah, it was hard, and it was a few months, and it was really because I internalized that so deeply that I am never going to spend time for money again. I'm just not going to do it. And I tend to be a little slightly autistic probably, and it was just stuck in my mind. I'm not going to do that, and that's probably why I was being so difficult. But we worked it out, and I'm so glad we did, because my whole life changed. Creating passive income, using my energy to do that instead of just, get paid for it, changed everything. Like, massive amounts of freedom entered my life because you taught me that.
Yeah, well, you taught me a lot too about technology. I mean, I knew nothing about it, and dummy me was trying to write my own databases and everything else. I mean, this was crazy.
I remember we were talking about normalized database. I'm like, how do you even know that? That's really technical, Del.
Yeah, but I was dumb as a rock because I was way out of my league, or actually, I wasn't in my pond. I wasn't doing what I should do. But the point was is that all entrepreneurs go through this, Damon. That's kind of the same point I was making to you is you want to do it yourself instead of pay for somebody to do it for you, right? It's the same thing with education. You think, well, if I go on the internet and watch enough of these YouTube videos, I'll be able to figure it out. I don't need to actually go in and get any type of a formal education or something. And I went forward with Lifestyles. We leapt forward leaps and bounds when you came in. I mean, just massive growth because there was like this whole void of knowledge we didn't have that we thought we knew, right? I mean, like me talking to you about normalized database. That, why I'm talking to you about normalized database? Because I'm trying to have the ego to tell you I know what the heck you do when I really don't, but if I throw the right words at you, you go, hey, he's a pretty smart guy, right?
I was impressed.
But how many technology people do that? They'll watch a few Google videos and then they'll come back and go, well, Del, what about X and Y and Z? And I'll go, you don't have any idea what you're talking about, do you? Because I can see right through it. You've got the words, but you don't have the understanding. So what was the aha to you? Because you'd already been driven for passive income. What was the aha when you took the 2-day that really stuck in your mind? You could see a difference.
Yeah, I think the aha for me was learning how to calculate the numbers. And I'm kind of a numbers person. So when you described, here's how it works, these are the numbers to be looking at, and then these are the results that you get, that just totally clicked in my brain. And it made perfect sense to me. And nobody had given me that model before. I knew that I wanted to have, freedom and retirement, but I didn't understand the model. So for me, the numbers on there were very, very helpful of seeing how to calculate things.
Yeah. And when we come back, we'll pick up a short, brief explanation of each of the different programs that you created that help real estate investors do this, because do we have 2 or 3 now? I can't remember different programs.
3.
We got 3. Okay. So we'll take a short break. Be right back with Damon Janis and the Del Wamsley Radio Show.
Teaching you with a roadmap to creating the lifestyle you really want. Keep listening. The Del Wamsley Radio Show returns in moments.
For 30 years, I've taken the smartest people I could find and then held them up as examples for you guys to learn from. We're all only as strong as our best people. But the best part about this is that these best people are willing to give back.
Ready to learn from the best? It starts with our free online workshop. Stop depending on your paycheck. Quit worrying about retirement. Register now at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
You're hearing the Del Wamsley Radio Show. Want more life-changing knowledge? Access our podcast and listen on demand at lifestylesunlimited.com under the radio tab. Now your host, Del Wamsley.
Welcome back to the Del Wamsley Radio Show. With me here today on my new series called Real Estate Retired is Damon Janis, the world traveler. And I call him that because you can never track him down. He spent time running around the world in a mobile home or motorhome, and now he just travels. And so, Damon, as we look at this situation and we move forward, you had been real estate retired in what? You said to me 2008? Is that when it happened?
Yeah, 2008, 2009. That's correct.
And then I drew you back in.
Yeah.
And
You're like, hey, can you get back to the community here?
Well, I think that's important. I think, in Lifestyles, that's a big thing. There's a lot of give back here at Lifestyles. You come in, you find out how to retire. Most people are going to work the rest of their lives till 65, 70. The new 65 is 70. But, people are retiring. How old were you when you real estate retired the first time?
I was in my early 40s, like 43, thereabouts.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And so I drug you back in. You created some products that have really helped our members. These are proprietary to our members, so I don't want to go into detail, but you created, the first one was a software program that actually helps you evaluate single-family deals. This is an incredible program. You developed that for yourself and your wife, right, to analyze deals?
Correct. And then when you got wind of it, you wanted me to show it to you, and then you're like, wow, this is great. Can we make this available to our membership? Yeah, that's how that goes.
After doing that, man, it's like once you put this out there for people to use, it was a very large percentage of people. This was a single-family evaluation software program. So a very large percentage of the people doing single-family almost couldn't survive without this thing. It became part of our teaching tool and so on and so forth. So it's a phenomenal thing. And what happens, guys, and I can't tell you all about it because I don't want anybody to be able to copy all the really neat things it does. But the bottom line is you can pretty much put a deal in there and it will totally evaluate the deal for you and tell you all kinds of information that is auxiliary to what you would normally get from something like this. It's just a phenomenal thing. The second thing you did was a bookkeeping program, right? It's just a low-end bookkeeping program for people that
a little accounting program. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, these big, giant accounting programs that I used, which is what I grew up on, which now my CFO uses and, our company uses, those things are expensive and they're complicated. And even QuickBooks became complicated for a while, but it also didn't give you the platform to be able to throw real estate into it very easily. You had to know how to actually robustly reprogram QuickBooks. I knew enough
Yeah.
about it, how to do it. You knew how to do it. And so guys like us could reprogram QuickBooks to line up all the different categories. Remember, it's a database thing, guys. And you have to know how to align all of the different things you're tracking. And it can do it, but you got to almost reprogram it. So we thought something soft and, that was designed just for real estate would be good. And then the last program we designed, and I asked you specifically to design this, was that people were paying gazillions of dollars to be able to get onto these software programs where you could put your investments, your passive real estate investments, and also the leads. Actually, it's a lead software where the syndicators can put their deal online where everybody can get to it and get all their data and information. And they don't have to just keep sending it out. It's posted. And then what you did with it was made it even more interesting, because then you put it out there where passives, which is our members, it's proprietary. Again, our members use it, can actually track and keep track of all of our members and what they're doing, can track and keep track of all their deals and what they're doing. And it becomes a seamless communication device. So, I mean, it's just a phenomenal piece of programming. And it is added. But since you put that together, you make some money off of that. What did you do with all that money, I bet?
I went right into real estate investing. Yeah, I mean, we just are buying real estate. We're investing in deals constantly. That's where the money goes. Yeah, because that's what brings the freedom.
Well, when you first designed the single-family software program, you obviously doing real estate, doing single-family yourself. Let's talk about the transition, because now that you have this other program, you seem to have changed your mind. You've gone the other way. So tell us how that transition worked mentally, from going from single-family to multifamily as a retired real estate investor.
Yeah, mentally it was this realization that going into the passive multifamily deals meant less management, less time involved. The time involved just became evaluating the multifamily deals and then, going through the paperwork to get into the deal. And after that, there really wasn't anything to do. And so that was just like another step towards even more freedom. And I mentioned we did a bunch of traveling in 2023. Most of the year, more than half of the year, we were on the road. We did 10 deals last year, multifamily deals, and the last 4 or 5 of them we did when we were in Europe on cruise ships and traveling around Spain and France and that sort of thing. So it just that transition from single family to multifamily just made sense, because it just elevated our independence a little bit more even.
You make a great point. And, sometimes on the radio when you hear people say things, they don't seem real. I mean, it just doesn't seem that it could be real. But think about a guy that's up to his hiney and working in the cubicle every day in the technology world that you came from.
Yeah.
Do you think that they ever think there's just not enough time to get into real estate?
Yeah, I think that's true. And maybe there's a little bit of trying to over-engineer it too. Like a lot of people like me that are technologists, we may tend to over-engineer things. So you might make the real estate more complicated than it needs to be. And that's probably part of the transition from single family to multifamily, is another realization. I really don't need to micromanage the single family properties. I can go into multifamily. It's simpler. I offload the work onto the lead and their management team. And so that, for any technologists out there listening to this, you don't need to over-engineer the real estate investing. It's actually pretty simple.
So I wanted to touch base with you on a couple of topics that when we were discussing the other day, just stood out to me in the conversation, because we were sort of just sharing what are we seeing in deals. And one of the things that interested me, you were talking about the 2 deals you closed already. They were purchased at significantly lower prices than what they had been listed at before.
Yeah, one of them was actually $1.3 million lower. It's a 37% price reduction from what it was priced at last year. Earlier in the year. So that was a significant, that was a big price. And I'm seeing that with a lot of the properties a lot of the investment deals that are out there right now, is that they're selling for, like, we're able to buy them at a much lower price than we were even 12 months ago.
That seems to be across the board. So for those of you who are just listening for the first time, you have to understand that last over the last 10 years, the prices of real estate have gone up every single year as interest rates went down. When they popped the interest rates back up again, that brought the prices back down. Now, some people, that was not very fun for them because they saw the value of the stuff that they had just bought at the highest price ever recorded go down in value. And so those deals are coming back on the market now that won't sell and hadn't sold because it took a long time for the owners, the sellers, let's call them the sellers, to rationalize that the true value of their property wasn't what they thought it was when they bought it and or when they'd owned it 10 years. A lot of people own stuff for 10 years and it's still worth a lot more, 10 times more than what they paid for it, but it's not worth as much as it was last year. So it took a while for the sellers to rationalize that the market actually shifted back to normal again. And so you're seeing these deals. The other thing you pointed out to me, and you can share whatever you can on this. Remember, we can't tell you exactly about deals we do or we're in because that would be marketing the leads, the syndicators that are in it. That would be marketing the deals, and we can't do that. We have to be vague about what we talk about. Otherwise, the SEC would be all over us at some point. But an example here, you said that you're finding the deals out there now where the old interest rates that were low, the 3 and 4% interest rates, those deals are coming back on the market again as assumptions, I take. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the one deal we're in that closes next week, it's got like a 3.25% fixed interest rate for the next 8 years because it's assuming a loan that was created a couple of years ago when the rates were really low, and so we're just able to assume that loan. It's a fixed interest rate. I mean, that's just incredible in today's market. But we're also seeing, even if it's not an assumption, we're seeing rates that are reasonable now, like 5.5%, 6% fixed interest rate loans. And but there's two of these deals that we're getting into have interest rates that are assumed, and they're in the 3% range.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That's going to be a killer deal. There's no way. With the prices down and getting that rate of interest rate, that's going to be killer deals. I'm sad I didn't get into those two. You should have called me. Those deals look good. Now, the one that you're going to close on, I know we can't say anything about that because it's coming, but I want to ask, that one has an assumable interest rate. What about price? Did you get any price reduction on that one?
Yeah, that one has a $1.5 million price reduction. And interestingly, the prior owner about a year ago put $1.5 million in upgrades into the property. So not only are we getting it for $1.5 million lower, but there's also $1.5 million of new value that was added because the prior owner had paid for that. So
I was looking at it. I know you look at it all the time. On our software program Podium about multifamily investing. Yeah, you brought this up, and I also kind of see it, is that back when the big boom was going, when interest rates were down to 3%, and people were buying anything and everything as fast as they could. Podium was filled up with offerings that were just unlimited number of people. I mean, we have like 500 syndicators in our group, and I don't know how many are active any one time, but there's a good portion of them that are on Podium. Not all of them, but there's a good portion of them that are on Podium because it makes it easy for them. But then all of a sudden, when interest rates went up, man, you saw these deals just dry up because the seller couldn't rationalize what the buyer had already rationalized. The buyers goes, hey, times have changed, interest rates are up, taxes are up, insurance is up, your price is too high, you got to come down. And so I saw just a volume of deals go down. My real estate companies saw a volume of deals go down. Yeah. But here of late, we're starting to see them come back. But you mentioned something the other day that you saw that there was a change in the type of deals. Even though there wasn't as high a volume, there was still plenty of them there. And what did you see that was different about them? Because it was really interesting to me.
Yeah, so the volume has gone down, but the quality of the deals has gone up. And I would say up significantly. There's two that we're looking at right now, and they kind of follow the same pattern of being able to get it at a significantly reduced price. One of them is an assumable loan at just a little over 3% interest rate,
All right, there's the music. Sounds like we've got to go. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you sharing your time. I know you're out somewhere in the world in a hotel room somewhere. Thank you very much for coming in. The rest of you out here, remember this. It's not the money. It's the lifestyle. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Wamsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Wamsley, his guests, and his callers. The Del Wamsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Wamsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.